Fan court storming. What say you? 2 options. It's dope or ban it. Vote hard. I was just checking because I put it up there 20 minutes ago or so. So early on, I wanted to see what people were saying. Get a pulse of the people.
Early returns say?
It's dope.
It's dope.
Yeah, 53% dope.
But very close.
47% ban it. So maybe my opinion and your opinion will not be as... what would be the word? Would not be as... in the minority.
Yeah.
As maybe I thought. Because I think I'm going to sound just like a fan, you know? Because, I mean, all of the... So if you didn't see it, Duke, Wake Forest beats them. Fans storm the court. Filipkowski, the big dude for Duke, hurts his knee. He gets hit by a fan. He stumbles. I mean, I say hit. They collided. He shoved the kid. Stumbles a little bit. Hurts his knee. I haven't seen anything on the severity of it. Have you?
Not yet, no. And I don't know if this is going to be considered a hot take. When I look at that video, it looks like to me like he's winding up to push that kid before that kid even makes contact with him.
I agree with that, but I'm okay with that.
And yeah, I mean, if he's trying to make sure he's getting out of there, fine.
That's right.
But before the injury gets sustained, he looks like he's going to take a shot at a kid that's sprinting by him.
No,
to me,
I agree with that, but I also think that he has every right. If he feels like that guy is barreling down on him, dude, that's what you get. You're storming the court. If a player knocks your ass out or over,
that's part of it.
Yeah, I don't know what to tell you. He shouldn't. Filipkowski, or is that his name? Filipkowski. Filipkowski.
Is it? Yeah, I think that's right.
Filipkowski. He shouldn't be punished for that. And so
I would agree.
I don't even think that matters. He did shove the kid. He did shove the kid down. I don't think. I've heard people saying that. They thought the kid was going right at him. I don't think he was. I think he accidentally ran into him, and then of course he got to taunting because he saw a Duke player.
I thought the kid was beelining towards the middle of the court where the court storming always happens.
That's right.
And then all of a sudden there's a Duke player right in front of him.
Yeah,
I don't think there's a lot of calculation to
and
this.
he gave him a little, he gave him a little, looked like he gave him a little look or something, like he taunted him on his way by, but then ultimately he got the worst end of it, which I have no problem with any of that. Like, look, that's the same thing about football. We've talked about this with Autzen. I think it happened, right? Oregon beats USC, a bunch of people jump on the field, and I thought it was some Oregon fan got clocked by some USC player or whatever it was, but it's going to happen. I actually think, and we'll get to this later, but I think that storming the field in football is worse perhaps than storming the court in basketball. But I just feel like every talking head or every analyst all across the country today talking about this, they were on their shows saying the same things. And that is, you got to ban court storming because that's the groupthink of it. And
it has been banned other places already.
Well, and
other conferences.
You get fines. Yeah. I mean, they're supposed to fine you. They're supposed to fine the school.
Isn't the SEC? It's like $100K.
It is, but look, the schools want. They don't.
Do you think the people storming the court care what that fine is?
Oh God, no. As a matter of fact, in the end, I think that if you banned court storming, I actually don't think it would be effective. I think they would do it anyway.
No, what you would end up having to do, I think it's only the places where they're able to successfully curb it, it's just because they've hired more crowd management. That's because they want to avoid those fines. And I do think there are some conferences where, is it the Big 12 now, where the coaches are running into the stands because they can't run on I've seen, who was it, the Kansas State coach or the TCU coach the other day ran into the stands to go celebrate, and some players did too because they weren't supposed to court storm. That was like part of it. So I don't know if we're getting like a changing of the momentum here, but in general, I'm with you. I don't think I also think that it happens so infrequently. It's just not a big deal.
I know. I couldn't agree more.
Who can you name anyone who was ever severely injured from a court storming?
No.
I can't name one.
I can't either.
I can think of I can barely think of times like players have been knocked over or whatever. It's hardly an issue of player safety for anyone.
It is wild how few incidents have occurred. As often as court storming has happened, there really aren't that many incidents.
No.
Now, you have 2 high-profile ones this season because you have Caitlin Clark and a Duke star player.
Yeah, correct.
And by the way, Caitlin Clark flopped, and she's fine. That was not a thing. This one, this guy twisted his knee. I'm waiting for an update on I mean, it looked like he twisted his knee. I don't know. Maybe they just bumped knees and he's fine. I'm not sure. But it's not. It doesn't seem like it's a major injury, right?
You wouldn't think so, but also by them coming out and saying, it's fine, then they lose a little steam in their argument.
Right. But, I mean, it's Duke. Like, this is classic Duke.
Very much so.
It happened to us, so ban it. Certain programs don't storm the court, right? Like, I mean, I'm a Kansas fan. We don't really storm the court. Blue Bloods,
Duke probably doesn't either.
Well, exactly. That's what I'm saying. Like, the Blue Bloods don't do it, so of course they hate it. It oftentimes happens to them if they lose on the road. And by the way,
frequently happens to them even when they're not good, just because they're Blue Bloods.
Kansas had one at Kansas State a couple of years ago where Bill Self got caught. I think he went down and got caught in a scrum, and he came out after the game and was like, you got to ban court storming. I didn't even agree with him. I love that guy. That guy's my hero. And I didn't agree with that. If you weigh the overall risk here, I just don't think it's that bad.
I don't either.
And I also think players are generally able to get out of there. If
people know what the score is, they know what's up.
They know what's up. Get out of there, and guys do. And girl, and they storm the court too. The players have gotten off, for the most part, just fine. So if we're saying that what happened with Filipkowski and Caitlin Clark is enough to ban it, okay. I disagree with that, but okay. I see where you're going. It's like it's easier to just say, you know what? A couple of bad situations have happened or could have happened, and so therefore you can no longer do it.
Additionally, I mean, I do think that court storming and field storming is too abundant. Too many student bodies and too many schools are doing it after wins that aren't that impressive. But when you beat a top 10 Duke team, that's not the case. So,
but if we're saying something worse is going to happen, if that's what you're saying, that's where I question it. Like if you're saying, okay, what's happened so far isn't enough to ban court storming, but something worse
what we're afraid of
to happen. Yeah, what we're afraid of is. I would ask you, what do you think is like what? You think someone's gonna die? No one's gonna die. Like what? So there's a risk in a lot of things we do in life as a collective, and I just how many times has something seriously bad happened in 50 to 60 to 70 years of this? I can't even remember one instance. So if you're saying someone might die, by all means ban it. If not, I don't know. I think the risk here might be worth stomaching. And the key here is court storming is awesome. It's really fun for the kids.
Mm-hmm. It looks great on TV for the product.
Schools love it. They want it for their fans. Fans love it. And it's one of the coolest visuals in all of sports.
And it really hasn't proven to be dangerous at any point throughout the history of the sports.
That's right. Well, damn, I wanted to disagree with you on this.
Well, you can disagree with the Vancouver Ford text line. How about that?
Okay.
This text says, court storming is freaking trespassing. Try bum rushing any other place of entertainment. Try it at a concert, a casino, a movie theater.
Yeah.
That's true.
Yeah, technically true, but not even remotely in a sense that it's part of the college environment.
Yeah.
And
it's also, the fact that winning and losing is involved. Like that, you don't win or lose at a concert. You don't upset someone at a concert like that, or at the movies. Right. Like you don't get surprised that the villain got taken down at the end and everyone goes nuts.
They don't really do this in pro sports. Although I did see one.
That is true.
I saw one in the NBA back in the 80s with Larry Bird, like the Celtics. Or it
did used to happen back then, huh?
I don't know who it was. I just saw the clip in passing. And somebody said, here's Larry Bird demonstrating how to get off the court when fans storm. I thought it was in Boston, but it wouldn't have been because he played for Boston. Or maybe they won the game. The Celtics won, and the fans absolutely bum rushed the court. And he is throwing, he is linebackering, Terry Tating his way out of that. Those are his own fans, I think.
Yeah, I remember seeing this clip. It's almost like Hank Aaron swatting off the two kids when he's circling the bases, but like times 20.
Yeah, I just don't have a huge problem with it. I think that we're overreacting. Like I said, I feel like everybody's going to come out today and say, ban it, ban it, ban it. And is it the worst thing if it's banned? No. But I also believe that if you do ban it, you're still going to get it.
For sure.
You're still going to get it. And the other thing is, you either got to bag it or put up with it. I don't think, I've heard some people suggest, you can let players and coaches, give them, 20 seconds, 30 seconds to get off the court, and then let the kids jump onto the court.
That's a nice idea in theory. That's
Yeah.
not going to work in execution.
I don't think you can legislate chaos like that.
I mean, in theory, people aren't supposed to come on the court at all in some places, and so you putting a 15-second clock up there isn't going to do a whole
right.
lot.
Well, I also just don't think. I think the second you increase security, and try to get the opposing team off before, I think you may be even causing more problems. Because now you've got, no, we want to storm. No, you got to wait, and now you got even more issues. So, and like I said, I'm half inclined to think students will do it even if you ban it. Mm-hmm. So I have no
Maybe
problem.
More likely to do it if you ban it.
Yeah, I have no problem with court storming. I know it's a big topic. Poor Duke, but whatever, get over it. And I just don't think anything really bad is going to happen. Now, the second it does,
different conversation, but it hasn't happened.
If it does, you can throw it back in my face. But I don't see where something major occurs, and certainly don't see someone dying. No one cares about the fans. By the way, the fans are jumping out there at their own risk too. What if some kid blows out an ACL jumping up and down like that?
I'm sure it's happened. We just don't hear about it because they're not athletes.
Well, no one cares.
Right.
Yeah.
No one cares that Johnny's going to miss his econ midterm because he had to have, his foot re-repaired.
Right. Well, vote on our poll question. It's up there. AAA Heating and Cooling. It is pinned to the top of our profile. Fan court storming. What say you? It's dope or ban it. Right now, it's running about 50-50.
It's kind of dope.
A little north of 50% say it's dope.